What everyone expected happened. City four-time English champions, something unprecedented in the history of the elite of the I'm making this video right after Manchester City's 3-1 victory over West Ham, a game that ended just now at the Etihad Stadium. With this victory, Manchester City reached 91 points in the championship table and thus became English champions. This is the final table of the English Championship with Manchester City in first with 91 points, Arsenal in second with 89, Liverpool, who today said goodbye to Jurgen Klopp. We will talk about this throughout the week, with 82 and the Aston Villa completing the top four. Aston Villa going to the Champions League. I had talked about this in the middle of the week. Aston Villa finishing with 68. A highlight of this last table here is Chelsea. Chelsea spent more than half of the championship from 10th place down, but had a very good second round. Cole Palmer flew, and Chelsea ran over everyone and stopped in 6th place. At the moment it is classified for the Conference League. If City beat United in the FA Cup final, Chelsea will go to the Europa League. A beautiful recovery from Chelsea. Now talking specifically about the match. The game, City imposing itself from the start, Guardiola making a very offensive lineup, with just Rodri as a midfielder and playing inside, De Bruyne and Foden playing inside, Doku open on the left, Bernardo Silva on the right, and Haaland. So it was City saying, I'm going to win the game. I'm not going to play another game. I'm going to win the game. And with 1 minute and 20, after a play that starts on the left, Paqueta moves poorly, the ball returns to City on the right, and when it returns to the middle, Foden is free to hit. I even thought it was a slap, but it was a hit on the face of the ball, in the angle. That was 1 minute and 20. 15 minutes later, Foden made it 2-0 in a play that started with Rodri in the defensive midfield, reaching De Bruyne in the middle. De Bruyne manages to create a play with Foden himself, then passes the ball to Doku and Doku crosses to Foden, appearing as a center forward and deflecting the ball to make it 2-0. At 2-0, the feeling was that the game was already over, that the title was a matter of time. But in the final stretch of the first half, Kudus, a good striker who arrived at West Ham this season, after the corner, lifted the ball with his left foot and scored a bicycle goal with his right foot. A great goal and a goal which left a slightly tense feeling there. Guardiola, for example, picked up the bottle and threw it on the floor because he was angry. During the week, Guardiola wanted to say that City needed to play the game with a tight grip. They needed to make an effort because the game would be tough. And in the end, it really was. The end of the first half had that tense feeling. At the end of the second half, City came back to impose themselves. He made it 3-1 in a play on the right side, with support from Kyle Walker. The ball reached Bernardo Silva on the inside. He rolled back and Rodri, coming head-on, ended up hitting. There were a lot of people in front of Areola, the goalkeeper, and the ball. When it passed the goalkeeper, was already very close to him. He still touched the ball, but couldn't save it. And then it was the relief goal. It was the goal that left the Etihad Stadium relieved. 3-1 in City are four-time English champions. If you have an idea, the English First Division Championship has been played since 1889. Since then, there have been 125 editions of the championship, and never in the history of the English First Division has there been a four-time champion. We had several three-time champions. Liverpool, United more than once, City themselves were three-time champions. But there has never been a four-time English champion, a team winning 4 titles in a row. This just shows the size of Pep Guardiola's achievement. Guardiola proving to be a brilliant coach, he took the league that we all recognize, and for me, I think unquestionably, is the best national league in the world and transformed it almost into his own private league. It's worth remembering that, if we take the last English champions, we have Liverpool having that fantastic campaign in the 1920 season. If it weren't for Liverpool's fantastic campaign, we could easily have 7 titles in a row for Guardiola City, because he wins in 18 and 19, Liverpool wins in 20, and then City wins 4 titles in a row. It must be very hard, very exhausting, very frustrating to compete with Guardiola in terms of points. And that's even curious, because these runners-up have champion scores. Thinking about the best campaigns of a runner-up, the best campaign was from Liverpool in 2019, which scored 97 points and was runner-up to Manchester City. The second best campaign for a runner-up was Liverpool in 2022, who scored 92 points and were runner-up. Third best campaign for an English runner-up, this season's Arsenal, which scored 89 points and was runner-up. It must be maddening to compete on points against Guardiola. Guardiola, of the 15 points championships he played in, won 12. And in the 3 he didn't win, he was among the 3. He was runner-up twice with Barcelona to Mourinho's Real Madrid, who scored 100 points, and he was runner-up to Liverpool in Klopp's historic campaign. He was placed third there in 2017, when he lost to Chelsea, but it was his first year at Manchester City and he came in third place. It's a brilliant feat from a brilliant coach who wins and sticks to his convictions, because he wins by playing his way. And the times he lost, not only the English Championship, but also lost in the Champions League, he lost playing his way, playing without giving up what he believes in, oppressing his opponents, pushing them back. This just shows the greatness of Guardiola, who this season had a lot of work to do to win this title. First, he spent more than half of the championship without De Bruyne. Afterwards, he had many other injuries. He stayed there for more than a month, almost 2 months, without Haaland. So he starts the championship without De Bruyne, who only returns in February. And in this turn from 23 to 24, he was without Haaland too. In the meantime, he had absences in defense. One time it got hurt, another time Walker got hurt. It had problems and a lot of competition, but City was almost always in the championship chasing either Liverpool or Arsenal, until it managed to move into first place in the final stretch of the championship, when Arsenal were defeated in the same round. Arsenal and Liverpool lost at home in the same round. Liverpool lost to Crystal Palace and Arsenal lost to Aston Villa. They both lost at home, and then City had the chance to rely on themselves. And then City took off to become champions. And starting is not a force of expression. City in the English Championship has won its last 9 games and has not lost in the last 23 games. City's last defeat in the English League and season was on December 6, 2023, against Aston Villa. Since then, he has gone 23 games unbeaten in the English Championship, with 18 wins and 5 draws. When he needed to stretch the rope, seek results and achieve victories, some complicated victories, the City team managed to respond. Individually, we have some names to highlight besides Guardiola, of course. Let's talk about Haaland, 27 goals, top scorer in the championship. He didn't have a season of performances as good and as impactful as last year, but a guy with 27 goals in the Premier League is far from bad. We have to talk about De Bruyne. De Bruyne's final stretch is crazy, impressive. He came back playing barbarously. De Bruyne was very important in the second round. Bernardo Silva, with the tactical role he plays. When he plays on the right wing, when he plays as a defensive midfielder on the inside, when he plays wide on the left, on the right, Bernardo Silva is Pep Guardiola's luxury stopgap, and he is a spectacular player. We're talking about Foden, with his decision-making ability. When he plays inside, he plays better. And the 2 players who came this season and were very important, Josko Gvardiol, a very good defender. If he had moments of difficulty last year, this season he has established himself and is a duo with Ake, Akanji and Stones. And Doku, who is the only City player, after Haaland, who goes one-on-one, goes for individual play, breaking down the opponent's defense. And he did this several times, including, in that goal I mentioned about Foden in the first half, there was a cross from Doku for Foden to score the goal. Therefore, Guardiola has Haaland to push the ball inside. He has De Bruyne to make spectacular passes. He has Bernardo to perform tactical functions. He has Doku to go one-on-one. If you need to rebuild your defense, you have Walker, you have Ake, you have Ederson, who is an excellent goalkeeper. In short, it is a team that has a lot of very good players and is managing to play spectacular football. 4-time English champion City. Something that has never happened in the history of the first division of English football. Right here in the comments, I want to know your opinion about City's season, about this title and, mainly, about Guardiola's work. Beauty? Leave your like, subscribe to the channel. Until the next video,